Hey everyone, welcome to Bay State Golf. I'm Sean Melia. Today I'm going to share the 4 golf courses I played in October. All new to me, got me to course 167 in my quest to play every golf course in the state of Massachusetts, public, private, 9 holes and 18 holes. Before we get to my highlights of those golf courses, just a quick plug, subscribe to this channel, like this video. You can also follow me on Instagram at baystate_golf. I have a free Friday newsletter at baystategolf.beehive.com. If you want to support my work, you can also sign up for the paid subscription. You get course reviews early. You get more access to my course reviews, a little bit longer, extra stuff for those folks, and also bonus content. Everything I write is available to you there. Some stuff I put behind a paywall. Let's get into the 4 golf courses that I played this October. It was a quieter October than I had hoped for. I had a few golf courses. I got some stories about some that I showed up to, didn't get to play, and I'm looking forward to kind of talking to you about the 4 courses I played and some that I didn't actually get to play. But we're gonna just start with the first 9-hole course that I played in October, and that is Rowley Country Club. As usual, I'm gonna give you 2 things I liked about the golf course and 1 thing that I wasn't crazy about, maybe would change, and then we'll move on to the next one. So Rowley, as far as golf course, it's obviously in Raleigh, Massachusetts. Felt super welcome there, showed up as a single, unannounced, and was able to play the 9 holes. And I'll explain why I stressed single and unannounced in a moment once I get through with this quick review of Rowley. What I liked about Rowley was the just different shots that I found myself hitting. A lot of uphill approaches, some downhill approaches, a few dog legs. Didn't really feel like any hole was the same, and I appreciated that as well. So that's kind of just a general thing that I did like about playing Rowley. There's a few holes. The first hole you're hitting uphill. The second hole you're hitting way uphill, a long, tough par 3, maybe one of the harder ones that I've played. It's got to be like 230 on a fall day. It's cold. I wasn't loose. A pretty tough shot. You've got another shot up into, I want to say it's the 5th hole, another uphill approach to kind of a plateau green. The par 3 7th is another one uphill. You kind of start to get into around some houses and stuff. So a couple good shots into greens that I thought were pretty good. Hit some different irons into those greens too. Wasn't just a lot of wedges. So Rowley was a good mix of holes and a good mix of golf and of golf shots that I got to hit. So I liked that about it. It's a little bit choked out just as far as tree growth, and this was even in the fall. There's some spots where it gets a little bit tight. It would be nice to have a little bit more space to actually maybe play, especially the 3rd hole, the 4th hole, even the 5th hole a little bit there. Just you're playing through some dog legs that are a little bit tighter. And that's just one of those things that you're going to expect when you go to some of these 9-hole or even 18-hole golf courses. This golf course is carved through the woods. I've heard rumors that it actually might get more golf holes. They might add some golf and they might become an 18-hole golf course, or they're going to add 18 more holes. There's been a few little rumblings that I've seen and read about. They have so much land up there. You do feel like when you're playing Rowley, you are in the middle of the woods. So just a little bit choked out. And then the last piece that I liked, I thought the 4th green, it's a par 5, rocked. It's this kind of like saddle shape. I hit my second shot just to the front of the green. The pin was on the front 3rd of the green, and my putt was downhill all the way, and then I hit maybe a putt 8 feet, 9 feet past. I ended up having to 2-putt for par. Thought maybe I'd have an easy birdie, and just kind of got tricked by that green. And one of those things, if you can get it into the middle of the green, maybe the next time you play it, you take the club that would land you closer to the middle so you're putting back uphill. But kind of a cool green there. I like that one. I took a video of it when I was just there on Instagram just to comment on it because I did like it a lot. So Rowley Country Club, good value, easy walk, in the woods, little choked out, cool greens, uphill shots, downhill shots, a mix of holes. I thought it was a really good 9-hole golf course for what I was looking for on a fall day. Raleigh was going to be the second round I played on this particular day when I drove up to the North Shore. I went to Meadows and Topsfield and had maybe one of the odder experiences at a golf course during my quest, or maybe even in my entire golfing life. I sometimes just on a whim decide I'm gonna go play a golf course. I might not call. You can't make tee times as a single online some places, so you just kind of figure, well, I'll show up. I knew I had Rowley in my back pocket, so it wasn't like I was gonna drive up to Topsfield and have to drive straight back if I couldn't get on, if I couldn't get on. So I wasn't too worried about that. And I showed up. It was pretty, it was appropriately busy. Felt like a lot of retirees. It's a Tuesday morning in the fall. School's back in session. Not really a time when people are taking vacation to play golf. And walked up and just asked if there was an opportunity for me to get out and play as a single. Happy to join up with a group. And I was told immediately we do not allow singles in any form or capacity at all. We don't put them in with groups. You can't go play by yourself. You can't even call ahead as a single and get a tee time. So I literally just turned around and went back to my car, got in, drove 10 minutes down the road and played Rowley. So just a really kind of interesting experience. I've heard from some people that there are golf courses that do this. It's the first time I've ever been just flat out turned away with a rule of there are no singles ever allowed to play golf here. So if I'm gonna go back and play it, I've got to find someone to join me because they will not allow me just to show up as a single. The next round that I played, I did a double dip with my buddy Jed. We had kind of circled Dudley and Cohasse as an area of the state that you can get out to and play those two places. They're about 20 minutes apart. Our friend Kevin Van Cleef, who has been on this podcast, we did a kind of our favorite 9-hole golf courses podcast maybe about a year ago, and he picked out Dudley as one of his, so it was always in the back of my mind. Dudley is a golf course that is run by the Nichols kids. It's Dudley Hill at Nichols College, so the college is involved with the golf course. When you check in, you got college kids greeting you, checking you in. So there's a cool energy to it that way. Good little looking restaurant and bar. It was closed for an event when we were there. The golf course, holes 3 through 7, I thought were really solid, with 5 and 6 being the best out of those. 3 is a cool kind of plateau to plateau par 3 with a graveyard behind it, and then the 4th tee box is set next to the graveyard as well. It's a blind tee shot. Water down the right side that you can't see until you crest the hill. Green's kind of tucked back in the corner. And then 5 is this really lovely ripply fairway. You can't see the bunkers on the right from the tee box. Neat green, it's a driver and a wedge. And then 6 is a really good par 3 with this hard cut fall off the left side. A little mound on the right that just gives it this cool little, you get some context and some layers to the hole. And thought those 2 holes were, like 5 and 6 were outstanding. And then 7 is a good tough hole kind of heading back towards the clubhouse before you play 8 and 9 up and back. So I thought 3 through 7 really good. 5 and 6 were outstanding. The tee shot on 2 is probably the one thing that was odd. You got to hit kind of a rope hook. If you don't, there's a big fence up there because there's probably a lot of balls that actually probably, you could hit a good tee shot, a straight tee shot, and end up hitting that fence that's protecting people on the 9th tee box. And it's too bad because that second shot is a really good one too if you do hit a good shot. But hitting like a rope hook, basically out of the car park on a 9-hole course, just that hole didn't feel like it fit very well. But everything else, really, really good 9-holer, and that's another thing for me, just another 9-holer. I think all 4 of these fall in this category of just any neighborhood, any town would be fortunate to have these as golf courses that are accessible, that are cheap. I love that Nichols College runs the golf course too. Easy walk, and even looking at it from above. Sometimes I'll go look at a GPS at Google Earth just to look at a routing of a place. Sometimes I like to go in completely blind, but I'd seen some aerials and it looked a little bit like it was very much up and down golf. But then when you play it, you don't feel like that. Unicorn up in kind of Woburn Stoneham area feels a little bit, you're going up and back. Holes are parallel. It kind of clogs up the golf course. It makes it super slow. This looks like that from above, but then you get out there and you play, and it's not the case at all. 8 and 9 are the only two that are very much like parallel to each other, where you could imagine maybe some people, two par fives, people hitting driver, maybe getting a little bit onto other people's fairways. But otherwise, really cool routing from what you can see above and what you actually feel while you're walking around the golf course. So Dudley Hill at Nichols College, definitely like a cool little place worth checking out, especially if you go play Cohasse. I wouldn't tell you to drive, across the state to go play just this 9-hole golf course, but if you're in that area, if you're playing some other golf in that area, Dudley Hill is worth checking out on a trip, or if you're looking for an emergency 9. And then Cohasse Country Club in Southbridge, which used to be a private golf course. It's a Donald Ross design, and this year it became public, semi-private, so they do have some membership, but I guess the story is that the golf course kind of just fell into disrepair and membership fled. We're not happy, and a new owner came in, bought it, and has just taken the time to hire a good superintendent, a young, thoughtful, very nice pro who seems like he's on top of his stuff. He came over from Green Hill. His name is Matt. We got to meet him. He was just working in the pro shop, checking us in, running around, making sure people were teeing off one at the right time, like doing everything that he could. Knew all the members as they were walking in the pro shop as well. So like a really good vibe there. And sometimes you're at a golf course with members and non-members, and we were making the turn and we were on the first tee, and we could sense there was a foursome on the putting green, and they wandered kind of up to the first tee. And Jed and I were there with our kind of clubs ready to go, and I could sense they were like, where did these guys come from? And then they asked, like, what's your tee time? And we said, we're making the turn. And they were like, oh, okay, great. Yep, you guys have the tee box and we'll play behind you. So just even like those little things I feel like matter to having a positive experience at a golf course. At Cohasse, just to get to the 2 good, 1 bad, I know I really liked this place. I would tell anyone to go and play it. Put it on your list for 2026 if you're kind of like checked out of playing golf for the rest of this year. It's November, it's late. The back-to-back par 3s, 3 and 4, are outstanding. 3 is a long hole. It's kind of nervy. If you pick the wrong club, you could end up, my first time I hit the wrong club. I hit a hybrid and just caught the cart path and ended up on the putting green. You're like, the green standing on the putting green looks like, oh, it's probably a green that's going to accept a mid-iron, short iron shot, and you get to the tee box and you realize, oh, I'm hitting a 4-iron or a hybrid or a 5-iron into this thing. So really good hole there. I thought it was one of those ones you going around the second time, I was like, oh, this is a good hole. And then the 4th hole is a little wedge. I called it a nugget, par 3, as we were going around, and then Jed and I were trying to come up with other holes that kind of fit that category of these just little like cute, quaint par 3s. You're right by the clubhouse. Really liked that hole too. So those 2 back-to-back par 3s were very cool. The 5th hole, I think for me, and the 9th green are the 2 things that didn't quite square. The 5th hole is a kind of dog leg left. You're basically hitting a long iron and then a short to mid iron into a green. It's a blind shot. There's a big set of trees guarding the left side of this dog leg. That if those were gone, you could maybe create like a little bit of risk reward. I've heard rumors that maybe the new owners are looking at messing around with that hole a little bit. So we'll see, but that hole, and the 9 green was wild. My first drive, I had like 70 yards. I was at the top of the hill that collects all the way down. I actually just tried putting it for fun and left it just a little short, and then tried putting it again really softly, and it rolled all the way to the back of the green. Saw some other groups coming through there, and their balls all kind of collected in the back right corner in the rough. It's just a pretty severe green. So those were the 2 shots or 2 little spots for me that kind of, if I played there every day, or if I was a regular, you're kind of trying to steer clear and figure out how to navigate those, and maybe not being very successful. And then the last one, I thought the 6th hole, par 5, straight away, this really neat cross hazard pot bunker that is a good aiming point off the tee. It looks closer than it is, but you shoot it with a radar and it's 300 yards away. Probably gets in the way of some layups and challenges you in that way. Creek that runs across about 50 yards, so if you do want to try to get it up by the green, you're thinking about that. Big false front, I got false fronted the first time, hit a wedge up just onto the green. It rolled all the way back down after hitting my 3-wood up near the green. So I just thought that hole was really good, and you turn around and look back down from the green towards the tee, and you realize how much you have climbed without really ever feeling like you did any sort of climb. So I thought that was another really good, maybe my favorite hole on the course. It's got some things. Jed pointed out a few things. He's better at the like nitty gritty as a guy who's been on a greens committee at just like maybe some of the mowing lines and that kind of stuff on that hole. But a lot of potential on that hole, and I thought it was a really cool, strong par 5 on a 9-hole golf course. I would go around and I would loop that place over and over again. I really liked it, and it would definitely be on a place that I would love to go back and see again. Before we get to Groton, I just want to give a quick shout out to, I'm trying to spread the word about Cape Cod Country Club. I'm wearing a shirt right now that I have made and I'm selling on my website. It's a golf course that could very likely, is most likely going to become a solar field. There's a town hall meeting in Falmouth November 17th with a very critical vote that could basically kind of be the final straw of this process that's been going on for a few years, and then has quickly kind of sped up in the last 2 months, basically since September. So if you are interested in just spreading the word, please spread the word. I've done some stuff on my Instagram and on my newsletter writing about it, trying to cover it and just trying to spread the word. If you want to support it, I'm donating all the money to Friends of Cape Cod Country Club from the purchase of these shirts to help them just advertise, get the word out, lawn signs, whatever they're going to use the money for, to just try to save this 100-year-old golden age golf course that we're hoping we can maybe slow the process, get them to think about it a little bit more, maybe find a buyer who is interested in actually keeping it a golf course instead of this solar energy company called Pure Sky, who is going to come in and create 3 massive arrays on the land. So if you want to support that cause, you can head to, I'll put the link in the description of this video, and you can go buy a t-shirt, spread the word. I would appreciate it. Let's get to Groton Country Club, where I played my final 9-hole round, late October. Frost delay, got there, waited around for a little bit. I had my Galway Bay stuff on. They sent me a jacket and some pants. They're both really good. I really like wearing these. If you are looking for something to extend your season, I will share some links in the description there. They're doing a sale right now, but the jacket is great. Their chino pants are like actual pants that are rainproof. They have belt loops. You wear them like you would wear normal pants, but if it starts raining, and they're pretty warm as well. So just a really good, 2 really good pieces that I had on, and you can check them out too. But Groton Country Club, I played here way back, high school matches. The first 3 holes were kind of seared in my memory because they are so funky and so tough. It's oddly challenging, which is maybe the first thing I liked about it. It is you're hitting a lot of odd shots. You're kind of put in a spot where you have to just hit a hard golf shot, especially those first 3 holes. The opening tee shot is blind downhill to a very narrow little landing area. Then you're hitting a wedge to another little green tucked in a corner. The land is all sloping really hard from right to left. Just pretty extreme. Coming out of the car, frost delay, having a 4-iron in your hand on the tee, just trying to figure out like, where am I going? How far am I going to hit this? And then the second hole, you're hitting straight uphill, completely blind tee shot. And you can hit driver there, but you might just bang it right into the hill. I hit a 6-iron. And if you hit that 6-iron, if you get into play, the second shot isn't too bad, but that's also straight uphill. Like the difference in elevation from the tee box to the green is nuts. You get a great view. And then the third hole is a really tough par 4 where the land doesn't really suit any sort of shot shape. If you hit a draw, it's going to kind of sling down to the woods. If you hit a fade, you're either going to end up kind of in the right woods or it's going to roll down this really steep hill, and you're going to have to hit your next shot kind of over some pines to a tiny green with the land again running really hard. So the first 3 holes, you definitely feel like you're fighting the land. Pushing a push cart around was like, it was hard work. Probably a golf course you want to carry your bag. I maybe would have just dumped some clubs and carried my bag, give my shoulder a break. But those first 3 holes, while they are tough, I kind of was, you're charmed by them. I wasn't trying to, shoot a number. I was just out to play some golf, go for a walk on a chilly morning in late October. I think partly for me, those first 3 holes, while as a 4 or 5 handicap, going out and playing them can be kind of fun and challenging. It's also on the side of like, man, if I'm a 15 or 20 handicap and I'm showing up to try to play this golf course and these are the first 3 holes, I'm probably feeling pretty defeated, potentially on the 4th hole, and wondering, like, do I want to play another 9 holes after that and go through those 3 holes again? Because they are very hard. So if you don't have a sense of what you're going, they can be really, really good and kind of fun and enjoyable and challenging if you embrace it that way. But on the flip side, they can also be something that could kind of leave a sour taste in your mouth, because you might feel like you hit a couple good shots and you've lost a ball. You just didn't know where you were going. So like they're a little bit of a good and bad in those first 3 holes. They're probably what most people talk about when they talk about Groton Country Club and the 9 holes there. And I think the last thing for me that I liked, I think the 8th hole is kind of sick. It's a par 5. It's very short, but you've got this marsh that runs all the way down the left side. You got all the world on the right. You got some trees, but you got land. You're not going to lose your golf ball. There's a big tree that guards basically the corner of the dogleg, and if you don't hit it far enough, you're going to be blocked out by it. You could also hit it short enough to just have an angle from kind of being shorter and having maybe a longer shot in, but you don't have to deal with the tree. I hit my tee shot. I thought I hit a good one. My perception was that tree guarding the dogleg was actually on the other side of the hole, so I kind of aimed at it, hit a little bit right of it, and had to hit like a punch 5 iron. Ended up being short, but I thought that was a neat way to protect a 460-yard par 5. Second shot is tough. You got to get it all the way to the green, because it's got a big false front. It's kind of perched up pretty high. So thought that was kind of a cool hole as far as just a par 5 that's out there. It's the only par 5 on the course. You look at the number and you think like, oh, this is going to be easy, but you got to hit a really good tee shot to have a chance at getting it on the green. And usually that means you've probably got to place your tee shot far enough right, far enough past dogleg, or maybe even backing off and just trying to play it close to the marsh and having something you can hit to the left of the tree. So thought that hole was pretty neat. And overall, just like Groton as a value, it's $22. They have a pool. It looks like they've got a driving range. They have a little bit of a summer camp, cheap junior memberships, like that kind of stuff that I think is good. I went across the street to Johnson's afterwards, got a hot dog and some fries. So I thought, overall I kind of had a little nine and dine lunch and then headed home, and felt like I got my fill of golf, as the season is wrapping up. So that place, Groton, closes November 30th. I talked about Groton last week too on my, here are 10 courses just try to go and play before the end of the year if you're, a sicko and want to go and play some late fall stick season golf. Groton Country Club, not a bad option. Cheap, pretty walkable, maybe carry your bag or just ride a cart if you don't want to battle the hills, and just know the first 3 holes are kind of funky. Then my last bit of golf was actually on Halloween. I played 7 holes. I played the back 9 for the most part at Wellesley Country Club. I was doing a little video shoot with the Ouimet Fund. I met Kevin, who's a Ouimet scholar. He goes to Worcester State, and we did kind of a feature on him, and I got to play some golf out there, ask him questions, kind of walk and talk stuff. I hit some shots. He read some putts. Some of the holes back there were being worked on, closed. So, I didn't get to play the whole golf course. I got to play 10 through the 16th tee shot, and then I got to play 18. 10 and 11 are weird. And then I thought the rest of the golf course that I got to see was good. It was fun. Donald Ross greens. You've got the 15th hole is a hard uphill par 3, a kind of typical Ross type of hole. And I thought it was fun. I'm looking forward to getting back and playing there again. I will be sure to share that video once Ouimet publishes it. I think they said maybe mid-December. I was honored to be asked to do that video for the Ouimet Fund, and I'm looking forward to sharing it with all of you. So that wraps up the 4.5 rounds I played, plus a visit to New Meadows getting turned away. Could have been 6 rounds, but it was 4. And as the season winds down, looking forward to getting out, playing a few rounds in November, I hope. I've got some 9-hole courses lightly circled that I might try to get out and play. You know, we got 4:30 sunsets now. It's not ideal golfing weather, but there's definitely still a little bit of time to go out and play. If you are looking for a place to play, I did do a video. It's 10 golf courses to see before the end of the season. Obviously, we're not playing 10 rounds, but there might be something in there that's close to home, or you're looking for a little bit of an adventure on. Maybe you get a random warm November day and you want to go explore somewhere new. There's some options there. So thanks again for watching, subscribing, and sharing this with friends. And we will see you next week on Bay State Golf.